Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are about to embark on a wildly fascinating journey through the vibrant, tangled family tree of our closest biological relatives. We're going to be looking at all the apes, and yes, that absolutely includes you and me. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with Welcome to the Family Tree. Then we'll check out the ancient first apes, listen to the singing lesser apes, meet the great apes, and wrap it all up with our very own human branch. Let's dive right in.
All right, Section 1. Welcome to the family tree.
When we look at this tree, we are essentially looking in a mirror because, biologically speaking, humans are apes. But what exactly does that mean? Well, it all traces back to this massive evolutionary divergence roughly 25 to 30 million years ago. A specific lineage of primates split off from monkeys, and that exact branching path is where the entire ape family story began. Now, if you're ever wondering how to tell us apart from monkeys, there's a super simple rule of thumb: body size and tails. Apes are generally bigger, and we completely lack a tail. Monkeys, on the flip side, are usually smaller, and, you guessed it, they have tails. Nature always loves throwing in a few curveballs, of course, but that is your rock-solid baseline. Moving right along to Section 2, the ancient first apes. Long before we were walking around building cities, our ancient tailless cousins were out there adapting to a radically changing world. If we jump all the way back 25 million years ago, you get Rukwapithecus. This little guy lived in modern-day Tanzania, weighed only about 5 kilos, and researchers actually consider it a massive missing link, literally one of the very first apes. Fast forward to about 6 to 8 million years ago, we meet Oreopithecus. This was a bizarre island dweller in the Mediterranean that walked flat-footed on 2 legs millions of years before any other ape figured it out, while using its incredibly long arms to reach swamp grass. Then, jumping way closer to our modern era, just 300,000 years ago, we hit the extinction of Gigantopithecus. And honestly, the sheer scale of that last ape is just staggering. Gigantopithecus was the largest ape to ever exist on planet Earth. We're talking a 10-foot-tall, half-ton behemoth. But here's the kicker. Despite looking like a literal monster, it wasn't one at all. It was actually just a surprisingly chill vegetarian that spent most of its days peacefully gnawing on bamboo in the forests of southern China. All right, Section 3, the singing lesser apes. So leaving the extinct giants behind, let's swing over to our vibrant acrobatic cousins. Right off the bat, you'll notice there are way more species of lesser apes than great apes. Why is that? Well, the main genetic quirk here is that they are highly prone to chromosome rearrangements. When a small group splinters off from the main population, they easily evolve an entirely new number of chromosomes. This makes them biologically unable to interbreed with the original species they came from, which just rapidly accelerates the creation of whole new species.
And as those species evolved, man, did they become incredible athletes. 55. That is the staggering speed in kilometers per hour that agile white-bearded gibbons can hit as they swing through the forest canopy. They are absolute aerial acrobats, capable of reaping 15 meters, which is the entire length of a semi-trailer, between branches in a single bound. It's unreal.
And the sheer diversity of these fast-moving apes is still surprising us today. Get this, the Skywalker Hulak gibbon was discovered just a decade ago. It really proves that even in the super serious world of taxonomy, scientists can still have a little fun naming our newest family members, especially when those researchers happen to be massive Star Wars nerds. These lesser apes are just wonderfully quirky. You've got gibbons singing these beautiful morning duets that act as both love languages and predator alarms. Then you have crested gibbons sporting literal mohawks, though tragically, the Hainan species is incredibly endangered now, with fewer than 50 left in the wild. We've got cheeked gibbons staying way up high on the canopy to dodge pythons and clouded leopards. And finally, the siamang. This is the absolute biggest of the lesser apes, and they use these huge inflatable throat sacs to just magnify their songs across the entire forest.
Which brings us to Section 4, meet the great apes.
Climbing further up the evolutionary tree, we find some incredibly distinct giants. Take the orangutan. Their name literally comes from the Malay words for forest person, and they live fairly solitary lives. The dominant Bornean males grow these incredibly wide facial plates, while on the flip side, the isolated Tapanuli orangutans are officially our rarest great ape, with under 1,000 left in Sumatra. Then, moving over to gorillas, you have Western gorillas, who are actually clever enough to use sticks as tools to measure how deep a stream is before crossing it. And of course, the eastern mountain gorillas, magnificent, peaceful giants, with the silverbacks weighing in at over 200 kilograms. Now, because these mountain gorillas actually tolerate humans being around, they've sparked a massive ecotourism industry. $60 million. That huge number represents the annual revenue generated just by mountain gorilla tourism alone. It goes to show that peaceful coexistence with our great ape cousins isn't just morally right, it's highly valuable for local economies too. All right, now we hit our closest living relatives, bonobos and chimpanzees. Humans diverged from both of these species about 5 million years ago, but around 1 million years ago, the widening Congo River physically separated them, sending them down completely, wildly different behavioral paths. Because bonobos didn't have to compete with gorillas for food, they evolved into this super bohemian, peaceful society that literally resolves disputes with snuggles. Seriously. Chimpanzees, on the other hand, are way more prone to violence and border patrols, but they also have these deeply intricate cultural traditions passed down through generations, like figuring out how to perfectly fashion twigs to fish for termites. And the cognitive overlap we share with them, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Take Kanzi, for example. He was a famous bonobo who didn't just learn to communicate complex ideas using a modified language. He was an actual gamer. Yeah, your evolutionary cousin enjoyed playing Minecraft. It's just a fantastic reminder of how deeply connected our brains are to the rest of the great ape family.
And finally, Section 5, the human branch.
So here we are at our own specific, very crowded twig on this massive tree. Our direct ancestors evolved key survival traits incredibly fast. After the human and chimp lineages split 5 million years ago, early hominids like Australopithecus afarensis, famously known as Lucy, named after the Beatles song playing while she was excavated, were the first to walk upright. By 2.5 million years ago, Homo habilis was out there scaring off lions and crafting stone tools to scavenge meat. Just 500,000 years later, Homo erectus was looking a lot more like us. They made fire, walked insane distances, and became the first hominids to successfully migrate completely out of Africa. Now, if you went back a couple of 100,000 years ago, you wouldn't just find us, Homo sapiens. Earth was incredibly crowded with various human species. Up in northern Europe, you had big, strong Neanderthals hunting woolly mammoths and painting in caves. Over in Asia, the mountain-adapted Denisovans were busy crafting jewelry. Down in southern Europe, the tall Homo heidelbergensis were successfully taking down massive, straight-tusked elephants. It was a busy planet. What's totally fascinating to me is how island isolation forced evolution to get super creative. In Indonesia, a phenomenon called island dwarfism gave us Homo floresiensis. These were literal humans, just 3.5 feet tall, who spent 100,000 years hunting miniature dwarf elephants. Then in the Philippines, you had Homo luzonensis, another tiny human species, but their curved hand bones suggest they had actually readapted to spending a ton of time up in the trees. But here's the crucial point. All these parallel human species didn't just exist in isolated bubbles. They actually crossed paths. In one incredible archaeological find in a Siberian cave, researchers discovered ancient DNA belonging to a human individual who literally had a Denisovan father and a Neanderthal mother. It is hard physical proof that our ancient family tree isn't just neat little branches. It's actually a wildly tangled, interconnected web. So, why are we the only ones left? Well, as Homo sapiens spread across the globe, we developed unparalleled capabilities for complex language and thought. We built these massive social networks that let us efficiently pass down vital new skills and traditions from generation to generation. Ultimately, as the rest of our human cousins either slowly died off, got outcompeted, or just interbred directly into our population, those unique social and cognitive advantages allowed Homo sapiens to become the absolute last ones standing. I'll leave you with this thought to ponder long after this explainer wraps up. We are the only apes capable of digging up our ancestors, mapping out our own chromosomes, and actually explaining our own history. But as the sole surviving human species, what will our chapter in the great ape family tree ultimately look like? It's a pretty profound reminder of both our unique cognitive gifts and our undeniable foundational place within the animal kingdom. Thank you so much for exploring with me today.